Check. Yo, get off them streets. It's time for the Streets Are Undefeated podcast.
Is this what you wanted?
Knew their common ties in New Jersey. They continue to contribute to the history here, and by 1827, Benjamin Reevy of the Sandhill Band of Indians and Cherokee had become a U.S. Senator. All right, so the history that we're sharing with people is not some obscure history. Like, all this can be validated and documented. This is why I've been able to run around and say the things I've been saying for 20 years and nobody wiped me up. Even when they send, for me. You understand? Don't think they haven't. You know what I'm saying? I've had these conversations with leadership from all the Lenape tribes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We've earned respect from leadership. Maybe not every individual, but that's like, everybody in the hood ain't going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you ain't going to be on the same page. Everybody ain't going to be on the same page.
But the leadership, who are the people that really matter, like, that's who we have relationships with. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned to not get caught up in the talk of this one or that one who has no connection and you ain't getting busy, you not outside, you nothing. You don't even know your chief. See what I'm saying? Like, it's people that are politically active, and there are people that just live in communities.
Okay.
Right? It's people you can go to Asbury and they won't know the mayor of Asbury.
Yeah.
Right? They won't know the name.
Right.
Right? But they want to have a whole lot to say in terms of like you know what I mean, they're experts.
Yeah.
Got a reefy here if you want him on.
Okay.
You gotta throw on the headphones. So put him in here. There he is.
Peace and death.
What's up, soldier?
It's good.
You made it.
I know. I try to figure it out. It was in a promotion. Somewhere.
There you go.
I'm getting feedback.
Nah.
I had a question for. I wanted to ask them when you fill out an application, why they want to know specifically if you are Indian or not? Why they do that?
Well, at this point, they won't even ask your age no more on applications and things like that. So I don't think they ever really wanted to know if you were Indian. They were just giving you an opportunity to present who you are. We had a sit down with the United States Census Bureau in 2018, and we asked the actual U.S. Census these very questions. You know what I mean? And the information that we received made us take a whole new look at how we were looking at this information. The United States Census does not determine your status. The only reason you are enumerated or counted is because you are a citizen. Now, the terms that they tell us, they keep changing our status. Your status is citizen, right? You could change your name right now, every one of us. Many have, right? Your social security number did not change because that is your government number. Everything else is just social interactions. As far as the government's concerned, they don't need to know if you're Indian. They don't need to know if you're black. Are you a citizen? What that information for is to, when they're dealing with demographics of people. See, if you have a demographic of people like Lakewood, right? Lakewood, they all register as one group of people, right? So the leadership down there knows there's a large body of people that all see themselves as one thing and come under one leadership, right? So they know they have to deal with them differently, right? So when they're when they're asking you what you are in these certain censuses, it's only to determine how many Asian people are in this community. And do we have to cater to them? Because is there enough of them? Because if there's not enough of you, we don't have to cater to you. And that's the problem we've had as people of color. We identify as Muslim, Christian, and all these other things that divide our numbers. So when they allocate funds to our communities, they send it to the church and they send it to different organizations that so-called represent us.
The church, the masjid.
Right? But we're identifying via our theology, our beliefs, not our communities, right? So if we start identifying as community blocks, irregardless of how we see our theological beliefs, we can now, through the sheer numbers, start to demand some attention from the leadership in our communities. Mm-hmm. And that's what the census is about. The census needs to know, are there 100,000 handicapped people in this county? Because if there is, we have to allocate money towards ramps. We got to build ramps all over the county because we have so many handicapped people. So when Black people, however we decide, when we decide to identify through these very measures in a unified way, they're going to start dealing with us differently. It don't matter what we call ourselves, as long as we all come together in your communities and identify under the same titles. They have to start looking at you as a demographic outside of just Asbury or Red Bank or Monmouth County. See what I'm saying? And that's what we have to get to. These are the civics that the Moors tried to bring to us, but somehow kind of slipped away in the teachings. But these are the things that we didn't necessarily learn about that come along with governing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But most important thing is we're U.S. citizens. Our descriptor does not determine anything other than how they deal with us. You know what I mean? It doesn't make us any less a citizen. What makes us less of a citizen is the fact that we live in a country that's full of racism. That's what is really fighting. It ain't because of what we call ourselves. It's because how we organize or how we're disorganized, which allows them access to determining where our funds go.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but that.
Yeah, I do, because I always thought it was, they was trying to target people that said they was Indians. I always thought, especially as a younger motherfucker, I thought they were trying to come for people. Well, if you walk down, you're Indian, I thought the government was trying to like target motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
that was a reality that was going on 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Like, not so much in our time. You know what I'm saying? And if they were to target families because of but that's the whole thing. We have to understand that once you become a United States citizen, it don't matter if you're Indian.
Right. They go by how you look.
They don't have to treat you like you that. If you're not a part of your nation, you're a United States citizen. You're no more important than any other citizen. Only what makes you important is how you organize. You know what I'm saying? How you stand on it, how you hold your shit down. That's what they respond to.
How old were you when you found out your heritage? So how did it change your life?
So I'm from Tinton Falls. I'm from Red Bank. From Tinton Falls. I'm born into a life where I see our family names on the streets. Mm-hmm. I'm born into this. Like, there's not a time I wasn't conscious of who I am that I didn't know we was Lenape people. I had to learn more about my African side. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't grow up eating soul food, none of that. That was Thanksgiving. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to ask you too, what kind of like ways of life that's connected to your tribe that you always seen that was different from, the brothers in the hood that's not connected to a tribe, where you like, damn, this shit way different.
So this is a tough question, not for me to answer, but I think for people maybe when they hear the answer. Yeah. But I feel as though, and I'll attribute this to the historical narrative. My family is a family that's been in Monmouth County since 1650s, right? Yeah. I'm raised in a way that's a little different than families who come from, the Great Migration, come up north, relocating. Now they in the mix up top in a city, and they grinding and working hard, and things is more cutthroat, right? Whereas we down here on the shore, living on farms. You're saying we didn't remove because we had our own property. We built all these churches and all these big, you know what I mean? So our family, we wasn't broke, we wasn't poor, we wasn't subject to a lot of the systematic things that tear down people's morals. So what I noticed in myself and others around me, I felt like I had a more of a moral grounding. And there's things I wouldn't do that I watched all my friends do. From having babies at young ages, to carrying weapons, to selling all these things. I ain't gonna say I never sold narcotics, but it happened when I literally, society almost tore me down. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I got nothing else for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? I had fallen so far from myself. You know what I mean? But growing up, I watched people indulge in these things, and I never would have did that. My aunt used to talk to me in ways where I used to say to myself, I think this woman's racist. Because she expected more out of us. And I never understood, because we all niggas. Why are you expecting more out of me than him out here? But she know where we come from. I come from a people who own 1,800 acres. See what I'm saying? Entrepreneurs built these very buildings that people in my community come in and out of every day. We built that. So it's a responsibility on me to hold myself a little differently. And that's not from anybody telling me that. That's just from being aware of the history. So that's the difference I've seen between myself and other people. I'm not going to say it's a lack of pride, because if you don't know what to be proud about, you're not lacking it. You just don't know.
Yeah, you ignorant to it.
Yeah, I knew. So these are the things that, bro, I wasn't comfortable going to parties grinding on girls.
Why? Where'd that come from?
Because it didn't seem morally right, bro. See what I'm saying? If I could just be honest.
It wasn't part of your culture?
Yeah, it just wasn't.
Do y'all got like a traditional, like, that's been there for hundreds of years, like sets of rules and all that your older family members go by? Like, do some of y'all dress in your tribal what I want to say,
or regalias?
Yeah.
So my particular, like the Sandhill went through a lot of.
Damn, I just rolled past that by Pennsylvania, I think. Yeah.
My people went through a lot of transitions, and certain families maintain the tradition. So if you wanted to be around the traditional parts of the family, you had to make an effort to go be around them. So it's not something where I get out of school, and I'm running around here with some type of Indian regalia on. It's not that. I'm living a regular life like y'all. I just know when we drive past certain places, I know this used to be a slave thing. I know this was where the cornfields were. I know this is where the people hid. I know these things. You know what I'm saying?
That's right at Tinton Falls, though. You know what? You might do a tour for people. Like,
yeah, we can do all that.
That's fire right there, though.
This is the thing, like, to be able to get people in Monmouth County, make them aware of exactly who they are, whether they are of Indian ancestry or not. Like, we set the standards for a lot of what would become the United States. You know what I'm saying? All that right here in Monmouth County. People talk about William Penn and the great experiment in William Penn. William Penn was a subcontractor on the Monmouth patent. He wasn't even one of the main people. He was somebody that got broke off by somebody that got broke off. He was a little small fry.
That was the Monmouth patent, like the construction architect of Monmouth County?
No, the Monmouth patent was a patent given to English colonists from Long Island. They petitioned the king of this is after the English took over from the Dutch. So these 15 white men from Long Island, and it states that white men from Long Island received the rights from the king to seek land from the natives. So what they would do is the king would give you the right to set up a charter. Then you would have to go get permission from the Indians. Take that permission to the king and he grants you your charter. Because the king was not, what people don't realize is Britain had relationships with the Lenape here in Jersey That's what Princeton University comes out of. The Monmouth Patent, all these things that established ways, established laws and things that we eventually would be using to protect ourselves. The same laws that were helped to establish these Europeans who were fleeing religious persecution, we ended up using to protect ourselves. You know what I mean? So the Monmouth Patent was an agreement for these white men to occupy a tract of land from what we call Rumson to the highlands, right?
Yeah, that is expensive land right there.
Yeah. You know what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
that's all the Red Bank, the Navasink, all that.
Farm shit too.
And the agreement was that they had to people the land, 50 families within a year, and they have to manure the land. So when you manure land to renew it, right? They did not people the land. They did not have more than 50 families there within 2 years, nor did they manure the land properly. So in all reality, they forfeited the right to that treaty. See what I'm saying? Like, technically, the land of the Monmouth Tract still belongs to the Lenape because they didn't fulfill the treaty rights. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? What we gonna do?
So Sandy Hook, wasn't that where the Dutch first came to? Sandy Hook.
So Henry Hudson first landed in what we call Sandy Hook. He had an altercation with a Navasink group, and one of his crewmen was shot in the neck with an arrow. Supposed to be the first European to lose his life in the Americas. You know what I mean? Like that's a story they tell. Who knows?
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
But you know, in terms of the Dutch, because Henry Hudson was the first. You understand who Henry Hudson was? You know what I mean? Henry Hudson was an Englishman, but he was working for the Dutch.
That's the Hudson River and all that, or no?
Yeah.
Henry Hudson.
He landed at Sandy Hook first.
Know your history.
So from there, well, actually, he came from top first and came down and then went back up. But yeah, so the Dutch are who we had first. Like, a lot of people don't know that the Dutch and the English had a war here.
Yeah, they was beefing.
They was beefing. Yep. Dutch and the English had been beefing all over the world. When you go to East Asia, the Dutch had it on lock. The Dutch was, Amsterdam was the richest city in the world when all this is happening. This is why the English went so hard at New Amsterdam. They was like, we can't let them do this again. We can't let them pop off over here. And they just popped off in East Asia, controlling everything. You know what I'm saying? So what happened here in New York, when it exchanged hands from New Amsterdam to New York, was a big power move. You know what I mean? Like, the stock market, all that is invented by the Dutch. Capitalism, all that is the Dutch.
When you say what Dutch is like,
It's the Netherlands. That's like
Netherlands. Yeah. Because Dutch is the name of the people. Right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of different people. We just collectively call them the Dutch people.
Yeah.
The Welsh. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of different groups.
Yeah. That's the Pilgrims, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were coming here because they were fleeing religious persecution. All that has to do with what was going on in Andalusia, the fall of Spain. A lot of them people fled up into the Netherlands, and the Dutch West India Company. This is the thing about the Dutch West India Company. What set them aside from others is they allowed people to invest, whether you were rich or not. You can invest whatever you want. They had like 2-year and 10-year rollovers. So this is how the poorest of people would invest a little bit of money into these ships that's coming to the Americas, and they come back with all them furs, the beaver trade, and that's how these people got a whole lot of money. Like, people think, they say these nations made a lot of their money off the slave trade. They got rich off the beaver trade long before, like, the beaver trade was beyond, like, people don't understand how important the beaver trade was, and that's what really broke down Native American Northeast. That's what broke down the cultures, the beaver trade, divided tribes, all that.
Yeah, it says something about trading posts too, right?
Yeah. In terms of
And you say the New Amsterdam?
yeah, well, New Amsterdam initially was a trading post. They had been coming to the island of Manhattan years before they even set up New Amsterdam as a trading post, and they were only coming here doing trade and leaving. Not until 1660 or 1640 something, 1650. I don't know. I forgot the exact time, but did they actually purchase land, which is the famous? They bought Manhattan for whatever.
Right.
But what happened was Manhattan, the body of Manhattan that we know as Manhattan, no tribes lived there. They had trading posts there. So a lot of the Canarsies, the different tribes, the Hockensack, all these people would merge there and do trade, right? So when they bought the land off of the Lenape, they were purchasing Manhattan property from a Brooklyn tribe.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they just took like, okay, kept it moving. So, you know, it's even that, like how they say they sold the land. That's not the actual truth of the matter. It's
always deeper than what what they say.
It's always a little more.
And then Brooklyn, I remember you saying what you was telling me about. People don't know Bedford Stuyvesant, General Stuyvesant.
Yeah,
you had broke that down to me on the phone.
Yeah, so we had something called the Keff's War. William Keff was he was the general. I forgot what they called it, but he was basically the governor. He was the governor of New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam primarily at first was just a port that only allowed other Dutch ships to come, right? But as the wealth and the beaver trade became so prolific, the Dutch realized they couldn't handle it on their own. So they opened the ports to the English, to other groups, right? But they said, what we'll do is you can come here and do trade, but we're going to tax you on what y'all make. So now it's like we're going to let y'all do all the running and we're going to sit back and get us off the top. But they weren't making as much money sharing the profits as they were keeping the profits for themselves, even though it was more work.
Heavy.
So William Keff's idea was to renegotiate the deal with the Lenape and try to get recoup what he's losing from the Indians. Indians said, no, I don't know, like you wilding. You know what I'm saying? Never gonna happen. We're not even taking your shit serious. There was an incident that happened where in Staten Island where a pig was killed.
Right.
They turned that into a whole thing, and they ended up William Keff ended up going into Staten Island and unaliving a chief, which broke out. That's what broke out Keff's War, Pavonia, all these different war massacres that were taking place. Lower Manhattan, that Indian Museum is built in a spot that commemorates one of those massacres. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, they voted William Keff out. He was put on a boat, sent back to the Netherlands. That boat sunk. He never made it. And that's when we got General Stuyvesant. So, you know,
General Stuyvesant.
That's where we get Bedford Stuyvesant from. He came over. He was the general until they had to give up New Amsterdam to the English. So he was the one who negotiated the transfer of power. He didn't want to. He was ready to fight it out. But the people of New Amsterdam said, like, we don't care who run it as long as we can keep certain rules. This is what's important. People of New Amsterdam said, we want to be able to keep the district attorney. Like England, y'all can have this shit, but we want to be able to keep the district attorney. Why? What is important about the district attorney? What is the function of the district attorney?
Don't they control the law?
Yeah.
And they prosecute.
Yeah.
And they also defend, right? Like, if the government violates, the district attorney is there to put them in their place. Okay. If you violate the government, they're going to put you in place. Right? Their job is to either defend or
prosecute.
Right? So this is a way that the Dutch West India Company, the people who were indentured to a company, not to individuals. So when you get a job, your boss can't put his hands on you. Your boss can't, you have HR if he mistreats you. The district attorney played the role of HR.
Mm.
So when those early indentured servants had issues with their treatment, that's what the district attorney was there to deal with.
Okay.
That's why they were able to get William Keff removed, because they appealed to the leadership of the Dutch Empire.
All right.
Get him out of here. And they sent another one. But that's a way for the people to defend themselves against bad leadership, right? That's why we have what we have now. Like, that wasn't something that was necessarily a part of English law. When they were setting up their colonies, you couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? They weren't, because a lot of them also were. So when you have people who are enslaved to individuals,
yeah,
you don't got no rights. When you're indentured to a company, you signed a contract.
Mm-hmm.
You still have rights. Now remember, a lot of people came here indentured and they were forced into slavery.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of these things was going on, but what the Dutch left behind for all of us that empowered us was the district attorney, and in the Monmouth Patent, I can bring it up, I can read it to you. What's important in the Monmouth Patent is the Monmouth Patent guaranteed citizens the right of religious conscience.
Yeah, right.
Freedom of religion, religious expression.
Mm-hmm.
So when they started taking our rights away from us tribally, right, our identities and things like that, we were able to cling to these very laws that were established in the Monmouth Patent. And we were able to hide in churches to maintain our identities, to maintain our traditions. So yeah, we build the church, we in the church, but what we in the church doing is not Christian stuff.
Mm.
This is the same thing that was happening in South America, while you can get the Christian statues, but they represent other Orishas.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
We was doing the same thing. So these churches was being built basically to protect us so we can continue to nurture ourselves and continue this information. So the reason why I'm able to express these things is because I come from one of those families that built 8 churches in Monmouth County. You know what I mean? That go back to an individual who entered into this land in 1600s. You know what I'm saying? And I'll read it to you. So this is our family. It's a genealogy book, right? These are copies of primaries, right? So of course these aren't the primaries, but these are the copies of all the primaries, right? These are all my people, right? Let me find the part where it starts about my exact line, so I can read it to you, and we can just be real clear with things, because people would like to tell you. This is what people tell you, oh, they taught you that. There were no Europeans in our schools. When we was in villages, I want everybody to think about Little House on the Prairie. Who was coming there to give a curriculum to these people? Why would they be in schools like that when these people are going to grow up to be farmers, to do normal things? Why would you need all this Rockefeller and all the stuff that people say we've been brainwashed by?
Yeah.
When you're raising children to tend to land and to do basic, that's why 100 years ago, you could graduate from 8th grade and you were able to balance a checkbook, pay your bills, because we was grown men at 16 back then.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because the average person graduated in 8th grade, they didn't
go to school because they learned everything that they stretched out to college. Some courses, you would learn all that by the time you're 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a home and a wife, and you 17, 16, got a home, a wife, a farm.
Have a lot of kids to help till the land.
So all this, they taught us this in these schools. No, You go watch Little House on the Prairie. They not teaching all these high civics and politics. They teaching basic things for the people to be successful in the world they're living in.
Unless they was getting into politics or something else.
Yeah.
To be worth.
Yeah.
I seen that the other day. Guy was like, I don't use no geometry or nothing like that. All that is worthless.
But there were people who were, what they say, what is the word term where they, whatever the land, they surveying the land.
Oh, surveillance.
They need to know that shit.
Yeah.
They need to do that. So if you're not doing that, you don't need that. But if you're doing that, you need to be able to look through that thing and be able to determine, right? Because now we allotting land, right?
True.
Like all these things is taking place. So yeah, you're not gonna need every skill, but it doesn't mean that skill is not necessary as a civilization and a community. You know what I'm saying?
And dealing with the Sandhill Indians, like, so there's a connection with African Americans and the Sandhill Indians.
So I'm gonna break all that down for you.
God.
I want to get to the part that starts with my grandfather who came into. So look, passenger and immigration list indexes. So I'm saying like this we not just talking whatever. We talking like we getting the boats they came in on. This genealogy. This is what genealogy is supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying?
The boats that people claim never existed.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
All that is in here. Everything that has to do with my family, stuff that I haven't even gotten around to because there's so much information. But until I can find it, basically my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, seventh great grandfather, Abraham Rock, came into Monmouth County. He was owned by Joseph Fleming.
Okay.
You know what Fleming is?
Fleming, New Jersey. That's
There you
down by
go.
Burlington.
There you go. All right. So if you look it up, there's a place called Fleming Indian Plantation.
Okay.
All right. You can even find, like, it's not there now, but you can still find the roads.
Okay.
Right. So Abraham, who was from Africa, was indentured. He died a slave. Well, he was enslaved. He died a slave. Abraham's wife was a woman of Native and French ancestry.
All right.
So Abraham's kids were born free.
All right.
They still lived on the plantation, grew up on the plantation, but they're free. They're still doing the same work as everybody else, but they're free. Not only are they free, they're the grandsons of the plantation owner. Right? So when it comes time for them, they reach a certain age, this man gives them land, because that's his grandkids.
And most of the time, if your mother was free, you would be.
Yeah. No, the kids were free because their mother was a French and Indian.
Yeah.
But they still grew up on the plantation living there. So when they got a certain age, he gave Peter, right? Abraham married Ruth.
Okay.
Ruth LaRue. If you look up the LaRue family, you'll see the role they played in the beaver trade coming out of France, like coming from Canada, right? So their child, Ruth, was the daughter or the granddaughter. No, pardon me. Not yet. Ruth's child married the child of Peter.
Okay.
No, Joseph. Married Joseph's son Peter, had a baby by Ruth and Abraham's kid.
Right.
So the plantation owner's son married and had a baby with Abraham, my seventh great grandfather, and Ruth, their daughter.
Okay.
Right. That child was born Peter. And when he became of age, he was sent down to Monmouth County and given like 1,000 acres.
All right.
And that's what allowed the Rock family to establish themselves in Monmouth County.
Okay.
While this is already happening, you have Indian removals, tribes moving around, right? So at this point now, these people are coming from Brotherton back into Monmouth County. And they start living amongst where like they come back to Monmouth County basically. The ones that are there, there's already some still there, all intermix, right?
Okay.
And basically acquire land from my great grandfather, Peter.
Okay.
Right. So this is where my line starts directly intermarrying with the Cherokee and the Sandhill.
Okay.
Although my line was already mixed from the previous, from Abraham and Ruth.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? And then they end up marrying more. And so now you have a community of people who are of Indian and African ancestry just keep intermarrying.
And that's what I be trying to tell people. Like when people see people that's Native American and they say, oh, hey, they look white or they look black. Over time, if you keep mixing in with black people or white people, of course your genetics is gonna play a part in that.
And African blood is dominant. So you could be all Indians, and as soon as that Indian marry an African woman, them kids come out not looking Indian. Yeah. You could see it, but they're gonna look like, and that's what happened to my family. So my line just bong now they. But this is the thing: when you're in a community where you learn from the women, right?
Yeah.
But the mother is African. How do you learn the traditions? So you start to get left out.
Yeah, you're about to say you don't.
Yeah, you start to get left out. So it becomes more of a historical thing. So when brother asked me, do we have regalia? And I said, no, sometimes you got to go to the family members that continue to practice it.
Yeah. There's
other lines that were able to continue to practice it because it was taught fully to them.
Yeah.
When what happens with my line happens, you still have access to it, but it's not like sitting with your grandmother.
Yeah, usually your maternal parent is the one that nurture you. Yeah.
Now my grandmother, who had the baby with the Indian, lived in Sandhill.
Okay.
Right. He was a chauffeur driver. Sandhill had their own chauffeur service.
All right.
Fire company, everything. Right. She was a dancer at.
Don't say the turf.
No, the Cotton Club, bro.
Oh, all right.
This nigga said the turf.
Nah, because
she was one of them, and that's another thing people don't understand. Monmouth County and New York have a direct relationship.
Right.
Before there was everything else, it was
Springwood. Yeah,
it was New York people coming down to Asbury. That was where you come to party. That's where everything was happening. They hop on them ferries right in Lower Manhattan, and you'll be in the Lang Highlands in 20 minutes, a half hour. So how we drive to the city, all this is on boats. So it's a tight relationship between New Jersey or Monmouth County and New York. And also the Monmouth patent was originally recorded in Albany.
Okay.
So when Monmouth County was first founded, it was a part of New York.
All right.
Legally, right? Because it was founded like it wasn't New York, but see what I'm saying? There was no government in New Jersey to record these things.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So it was recorded in Albany.
That's that's the nigga James Bradley. Bradley Beach and all that. Yeah.
All them, when you look through the Monmouth patent, you're gonna be able to go into it, you're gonna be able to see all these names of people who participated, who were the 15 lot owners. Then you're gonna see the people that they broke pieces off of, and you'll see another 30 people. Then you'll see land that they broke off, and you'll start seeing names like all these roads we see in Tip Falls, Asbury. You start seeing all these people's names in that Monmouth patent.
Yo, I wanted to say, like, I was talking to somebody about the streets and highways and shit. Like
did
they just paved them shits? Was them shits there already?
All right, so
horse trails and all that, and they just paved them. Because I don't believe they made them shits.
No,
I believe they was there already.
So this is what you have to understand. They follow it in our footsteps the same way our ancestors would have followed in the footsteps of the animals.
Right.
So we didn't lay the paths either. The animals laid them paths. They going to food. We going to food. We following them. So we can't claim them no more than the deer. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it means to know these things. And not look at it like, oh, they just paved over our roads. Well, how many deer did we run off the path when we started using them? How many, you know what I'm saying, did we force up into the, you know what I'm saying? Because we're using them. And we going to eat you.
So basically, Lake Avenue, Springwood Avenue, horses and shit probably made that shit.
Before the horse, no. Horses ain't a part of America's. Horses were brought here by the Spanish.
That's what I told you before. Like
they not a part of our culture.
Wow.
Horses that was in America died out thousands and thousands of years ago. The horses currently in America were brought by the Spanish, right? So all that came into our cultures in the 1800s. So these paths you're talking about, no, that's Pat and Joe. Left, right. You know what I'm saying? We widen them things. And then on top of that, I'm going to look for it. My grandfather, William, was a part of the construction team they put together to pave a lot of these roads and to name them, right? So my great-grandfather, William, is responsible for, or is partly responsible for all the namings and maintaining these things. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a part of his responsibility, because that was a part of his heritage. You know what I'm saying? So when you're seeing all these streets, not only did they, you know, it's technology now. We got to widen these roads. We got to pave them. We got to do all that. Yeah, they did that. But they tried to include us as much as possible in maintaining the names and the legacies. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we want to package it like people came and just stripped us and took everything. Nah, a lot of the disagreements that we are victims of came after I would say the Revolutionary War, because we didn't have bad relationships with the English. They had treaties with us. They had to go according to the treaties. If they didn't, we could appeal to the king. Like people say that the first police that came here were slave hunters. That's down south. Up north, the first police that came here were sent from England to police the Englishmen, because they were taking advantage of the indigenous people. Right? So when they talk about the redcoats is coming, that's the thieves, that's the degenerates saying, oh shit, they coming to check us. But we're taught history from an American perspective. So we're taught the English are coming is a bad thing, when they was really coming to put these people back in check because they was violating treaties. When you look up, it's called the Patriots versus the Loyalists. Patriots were the ones who wanted to establish the United States. The Loyalists were the people loyal to the treaties. So if you were British, you were loyal to the treaty, which means you honored the Indians. Them other people was like, forget everybody, we taking this over. We want England out of here, get the Indians out of here, and if y'all don't fall in line. So that's what that war was about. So a lot of us think that England was our enemy. Were there Englishmen that did us dirty? Yes. Was the British government instituting that? No. See what I'm saying? But we have to learn to be able to separate what these English people did as opposed to what happened, what the government was. See what I'm saying? That's what the whole revolution was about.
It's like when nobody's watching you, you do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's called the revolution. So we got to learn to be able to look at things in the context of how they played out, not how we want them to play out in our minds. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to really look at history under the proper perspective. That's why I tell people, you got to know who you were. My people were loyalists. You know what I'm saying? Because we own land. See what I'm saying? And like, we dealing with relationships that are left over from when they first established relationships with the Indians. because those were our ancestors, right? So one of my grandfathers imported English racehorses, right? What is a black man in the 1800s doing importing English racehorses? Not only that, one of the first equestrian tracks in North America, you know where that is, right? Monmouth Track. It was at where Fort Monmouth is now. That's where it originally was, and it got moved to Long Branch where it is now. But initially was right there where Fort Monmouth is, and that's all my family's property. That's Peter Rock's property. We leased Earl Naval Base property to them, Fort Monmouth, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's deep.
I was looking at a live with Ming. Ming, you remember that live you had? It was not too long ago with Hold On to Your Shorts.
Oh, yeah.
With Georgina. They were here. It's funny. They were here and they said, in New Jersey, we talk different. They said it. I was looking at the live and they said it. They said New Jersey talk different. And you had broke out. I wrote to him. I said, that's Jersey Dutch. Remember you told me about Jersey Dutch?
Yeah, we was founded by the Dutch. So that's why when you listen to how they talk in Boston, that's English influence.
Right.
We have more of a Dutch influence, and Dutch have more of the
Okay.
So you got coffee, talking, and all these things. That's Dutch influence. So I used to think it was like Jewish, right? I was like, that's some type of Jewish influence, but it go back even. But actually, the Dutch are Jewish. So let me just. I guess I'm right.
I was gonna say, I've been watching some things, and a lot of people on social media trying to connect Hebrew with Indians. What's your thoughts on that?
So this is the thing. There is a linguistic family tree. You can pull it up. However good you are doing your research, there's world linguistic family trees that show which languages emerge from what languages, right? We as Americans, especially Black Americans, don't know nothing about it. We just learned about etymology. Am I right? Like, did we just learn about etymology 10 years ago? Past 50? So we don't really know about language. So we wouldn't know, like an African can come here and be around Gullah Geechee people and hear words from their language and be like, oh.
Identify it.
We don't know that. See what I'm saying? So anybody could tell us anything. Anybody could tell us, you don't hear the Indians saying, hey, y'all. That don't sound like they saying, hey, y'all.
Yeah, they try to make it like y'all, like Yahweh.
Yeah. So that's all it is. This is because we aren't grounded enough in our own languages to know how languages work, right? So the human mouth can make but in so many sounds, right? A goat goes ba, right? We can go ba. You think we saying ba for the same reason they saying it? No. See what I'm saying? Why does a goat say ba, not ma? Because he don't have lips, which affects how you would express things. It's all these little things so people can say anything they want to us. But in terms of the Hebrew, Paleo-Hebrew comes out of a certain linguistic family group, the Semitic languages. You can trace the Semitic languages all the way back to their origin. The indigenous American languages come out of Amerindian languages, which have different roots, everything. Just because a few words might sound similar, don't mean nothing. And then on top of that, we have to understand that Monmouth County alone, Red Bank, New Jersey, had the largest burial grounds of Lenape in New Jersey.
Wow.
Right on Mechanic Street. We're not too far from it. Shells, everything. They found all these things.
Wow.
There is when they measure the coast out here, the water, they find evidence of crops and things 100 miles out because the water line was further back in the day. So they can find all these things to show that we occupied lands that are now underwater.
I was watching something on TV where they was talking about down by Atlantic City. I forgot what area where they was finding stuff from the Lenape.
Yep. So what that tells you, they can use that to measure how long we've been here. So based on the radiocarbon of the elements they find, the Lenape have been in Monmouth County or some form of them, whether it's the ancestors that they come from, for at least 10,000 years. That means they predate Abraham. So how can we have a conversation about people coming from a people they predate? And the Bible is very exact about when Abraham lived. Gives you a date. So how could we possibly be them people if we predate them? We were in New Jersey 4,000 years before the pyramids were built.
That's people saying that all that shit came from over here. What you got to say about that? What you think about that?
Let me tell you exactly what that is. That is people making an excuse of why they have African DNA. And instead of trying to say we the children of Africa, they trying to say we the parents.
Wow.
That's all that is.
Right.
There's nothing to validate that. That's people saying it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even, and this is why they don't like me, because I won't entertain that. I cut them off. Like, I don't, like, bro, like, no offense.
It's kind of rare. It's kind of rare because a person with your knowledge or your roots, they be African bashing. A lot of people, they don't want to like connect. So it's kind of like, it's kind of surprising that you connected with Africa, because I know like I know a lot of people like they want to like erase the Africanism when it comes to black people in America. Like they just trying to say we not the same, we ain't got the same blood.
They try to
say kind of crazy right there.
They try to say they sound totally different. They say we're not African. We came from the land over here, or we left doing Pangea, even though wasn't no human around doing Pangea. But then when you ask them, what's your language, what's your tradition, what's your culture, they can't tell you nothing.
Yeah,
they go straight to the Mayan culture and civilization.
Which is why it was important for me to express some of the language with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because now there'll people get up here and they'll be like Halito. You know what I'm saying? Choctaw word. You know what I mean? Halito. Like, no, traditional introductions aren't just high. It's information exchange. That's why when people say, oh, I'm this, and we say, oh yeah, who's your clan? They get offended. But that's like saying I play for the NFL and me going, what team? Yeah. You can't get offended.
And the crazy thing about it is, like, they say we been here, we're not African. The Indians on the reservation, they're the fake Indians, but then they're sending something saying that they's on the Dawes rolls. Yeah. Remember, like, you just said they was the fake Indians, but now you sending some bogus stuff with somebody's name that you found similar to your grandmother's names, saying that you're on the Dawes rolls.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. So I think it was 1993. What is it? Mashantucket Pequot tribe of Connecticut. Mm-hmm. So Trump said they don't look like the Indians he know of.
So let me tell you what was really going on. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No. I said that to say this: the Siberian migration theory, the agents that allegedly stole the original inhabitants of American identity. What's your thoughts on that right there?
Like, that is, once again, people who cannot produce genealogy trying to move the goalposts. Because, see, when this all first started, it was about genealogy and watch me go find out who my people are. Then when these same people couldn't find their genealogy, they started to change the rules. Now, when they say Siberian, let me tell you the flaw in that. Because this is what they'll tell you. They'll tell you they're not Africans because Africa didn't even exist then. That's a word they made up. Siberia did not exist 30,000 years ago. The landmass that we call Siberia existed. But when you say Siberia, you're talking about a culture and a people who have a specific language and culture. So when you say those people are Siberians and they left the land that predates the Siberians' existence, you're being disingenuous. You're oversimplifying history, right? Now, those people that migrated into the Americas came from Africa, right? But as you migrate across the planet and enter into different environments,
Yeah, you got to rest, right?
No. You go through changes. These are called mutations. If you go to Peru right now and try to go up on one of them mountains and live with them people, you'll be gone within a month.
The air thinner, right?
Because the air is thinner and you don't have the lung capacity to live.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Not to cut you off. So I got land in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for like, how long we was there? Maybe a year. And we started changing, my nigga.
Yes.
We started getting like an orange color.
And that's
we started breathing different and everything, yo.
So imagine that over 1,000 years. Like we're not supposed to be the complexion we are. We just live in the Northeast, right? If we lived in Texas, I'd be much darker.
Mm-hmm. When I was standing in Atlanta, I was brown, red looking at it.
Yeah, like when I was young, I was much darker. But now I'm an adult. I don't be outside playing as much. We don't get the vitamin D we want. Yep. So we don't look like. It's so many factors that go into this that, like, bro, all the things these people say is because, like, if we could really get into it, we dealing with traumas, we dealing with identity protection, and the word identify means what?
Identify?
When you identify, not ID, not identification or identity, but identify.
You identify something. You making something be known?
No, well, looks to me like you identify with the Eagles. Yeah. You identify with the Cubs.
Yeah.
Right? You identify with the team. You like them. It appeals to you.
Yeah.
Right? When we're dealing with what people call who they are, they're just talking about what they like and what they identify with. I can identify with an NBA player. Don't mean I can go out here and do that shit. Right. I could ball all that, but it's going to be a difference. So I'm saying what I identify with ain't necessarily who I am. Mm-hmm. Our people are arguing with identifying as opposed to identity. See what I'm saying? You can like whatever you want.
Right. Yeah.
That don't make that you or yours. And it don't mean you can't incorporate those things into your life, because if you identify with something, you should. If I identify with the Muslim religion and it resonates in my heart, then I should be learning it and adopting it and making it a part of my culture. But I don't have to say I'm the original Muslim to do it. See, I can identify with and take on those attributes and not attack other people. So we're dealing with people who are identifying with something that they think is going to give them a certain form of freedom.
But you know what? These same people, they run from DNA testing.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you it's bogus. Mm-hmm. They tell you they found their haplogroup by looking on a map. It's no way possible you can find your haplogroup looking at a map. Like they give you the runaround, but they say, oh, the natives came from Siberia. Look at their DNA test. They say that, but they won't do a DNA test.
Wow.
And like I said, back to the Siberia thing, they didn't come from Siberia. They came from Asia. That you can call them Asian. That's not an insult, because you understand what I'm saying? Siberia is
That's specific. About Russia, though. Ain't that about Russia?
It doesn't matter what it is. It's a specific group of people. It's like me calling you fucking Vietnamese. You're not, even if you were born in Vietnam, you're not Vietnamese. See what I'm saying? It's a specific people. Siberians are a specific people. If these Indians were speaking the Siberian language, you could call them Siberians. Mm. But they don't. They speak languages that have been developed here for 15 to 20,000 years. So that's just ignorance. Like it's like me calling you your great-great-grandfather's name and expecting the same out of you that man produced. Right. That's just not, it's not even human at some point. Like, y'all not even thinking with human brains at this point.
And a lot of scientists say, like, even the people in that area ain't even the same people as of 30,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago.
And another thing they don't tell you about, this is what they don't talk about. It's called the Aryan invasion. Right? Meaning when certain Europeans entered into certain areas, them people were not historically looking like that. Them Asian people were not historically as light as they are. All these things come from people coming, intermixing, and changing certain things. And then you can get it back by, you know what I mean? But all these things are like, people don't know about the Aryans that went into certain places, India. Why you think you got Dravidians that are so dark, then you got other ones that are light, damn near white looking?
Yeah, that's like in China too, man.
It happens everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, all that conversation, when they look at those Siberian looking people now that are there now, they're a product of generations of mixing with different groups
that conquered it.
I tell people, when these people left what we call Siberia, they was much darker than they are now. Didn't make them us, like as we are constitute as a people, but they were clearly much darker than they did. That's one of the first things I try to teach people, like historically Native American Indians are much darker. So if you think you are a descendant of Native Americans and you're dark, don't let that throw you off, because historically they were much darker. That's what I try to do.
What can you say to somebody, with no connection of who they are, but want to find out as far as if they feel that they family been here in New Jersey for hundreds of years, all they can trace back is they grandparents and shit been here. What can you say to them to define their roots? What path can they take?
If you've been in New Jersey for 100 years and you want to find out who you are, right, you can go one of two ways. It's something called organizations, right? It could be like the Women of Monmouth County, whatever. It'll be these little weird organizations that you never heard of, and it'd be like a bunch of 100-year-old white women that got all this information.
They got some type of organization like that. What you just said?
Listen,
I see it in the building. A little building.
I went to college in 1988. Right, my aunt took me. It's a spot right up the street here. We could go drive past it. And Little Silver, a little building that sits on a wedge street, sits up. I'd never been in that building before. My aunt picks me up, and this is my aunt that used to be talking to me like, "Why are you out there on the block? Why you out there with them?" I'm like, "What you mean them? That's us, ain't it?" She's like, "Nah, you know what I mean?" Making me think my aunt is racist. This is the same aunt. She takes me to this place. We go up in there. It's this building, and it's like 10 gray-haired white women in there. Sit down with them. Boom, 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 boom. They end up giving me grant money to go to school.
Wow.
They asked me what I want, like a regular conversation. It was an interview. You know what I'm saying? But these people know everything. You can go, listen, you don't got to do all that craziness, bro. You can go to the Mormons. They got it all. People don't want to do the real research because it's not going to yield what they're looking for.
Yeah, you go right on familysearch.org. That's free.
Or they could just get a DNA test.
You'll find family and everything.
Find everything, bro. But really what I would say to anybody, if you from New Jersey and you say your people been here forever, there's no way you ain't interact with my family. Because when I say my family, I got to name like 20 different families. I ain't just...
I know. How Charlie Reeve doing? He's still preaching?
I know the name Reeve. I don't know Charlie personally. That's how I'm...
You know Charlie, right? That's it. Charlie Reeve.
I don't know.
See, I'm a Reeve.
God damn.
What's some of the last names?
Barry, Morgan, Richardson, Reeve, Johnson. What do you mean? Hold up. I'm bugging. I'm going off the top when I could just...
Now you see all them names you would think is European names.
I'm going to tell you what happened, bro. We got these European names primarily because... I'll give you an example. You
said something about William Morris.
The Morrises,
Morris Company,
McQueen. Well, all these names and all these people are.
Wow.
All these names are. These people are all Vanderveer. How do we get a name like Vanderveer? Vanderveer are one of the original Dutch families that came here because we intermixed with them when they first got here.
Before the Africans, right?
Yeah, because this is before the transatlantic slave trade in bulk. See what I'm saying? These are indentured servants who came with the Dutch. And when you're indentured, you can get your freedom. So you're talking about people who came in the 1615, 1670s. By the 1700s, they were free. They might have been 2 generations into free.
And what they did, the basic, I think it was like 7 years. Was like,
yeah, you had different. So like manumission, I got manumission slips in here too. Under manumission, right? You'll get your freedom, right? You'll get released, but you might have to go serve the sun for 5 years, right? And you're like, damn. So you telling me now I don't gotta serve you no more? You're freeing me, but I gotta go serve him? That don't feel like free.
Right.
But imagine this: you've been working at Target for 15, 20 years. And Target let you go. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go find another job.
Yeah.
So in manumission, it was set up to where when these people were free, he still had a responsibility to set him up with work to move forward in their life.
They would call him apprentice.
Yep, call him apprentice. Had to give him clothing, give him all these things, right? So these are the things that came along. It wasn't just the roots. Like what we saw in Roots was that happened to people, but it didn't happen to everybody.
Right.
And slavery up north was very different. Could you have the most brutal things happening? Yes. My 4th great grandfather, Samuel Mingo Johnson, was hung in Eatontown. He was the last man hung, 1886, last man hung in New Jersey, like legally. You know what I'm saying? Not saying there wasn't others after him, but that's the last one they talked about, court case and all that shit. Court case was held in Eatontown, across the street from that McDonald's, that little 4-story building to the left. Yeah, that's where the court case was held, and they served liquor and wine at the court case.
What did they hang him for?
Because he supposedly raped a 16-year-old girl. This man was 80 years old. She had tuberculosis. But see, Mingo Johnson, right, was a famous jockey. Remember I told you Monmouth Racetrack was right there.
Yeah.
He won a race. He won one of the first big equestrian races. Theodore Roosevelt attended it. This was like a big event. Mingo Jack was the winning jockey. The horse was named Chief Mingo. That's how he got the name Mingo, right? So he was a celebrity. So when this young girl got,
they do today, just like they do
today, they jealous of him. When this girl got raped, they put it on Mingo because they was jealous of Mingo.
80-year-old man.
And then they said in the paperwork he was 60. Now to take it further, at his funeral, one of the attendees at the funeral felt like Mingo wasn't getting enough respect. Pulled a gun out at the funeral, popping off at the pastor. Pastor pulled his gun out. Shootout happens at the funeral. One nigga gets shot in the eye. That nigga's name was Peter Rock. That was my 4th great grandfather on my Rock line. Standing up for my 4th great grandfather on my Johnson line.
You got a book?
We do documentaries. We do everything, bro.
You ain't write a book personally?
I'm creating a universe. How Marvel got a universe.
Yeah.
We got documentaries. We got a series of documentaries that all lead from one to another that will clue you in and put all this together. Right. The problem is all these people who want to believe that they the first people, they don't want what I got to say to be out here. So since 2018, all the biggest names that push this nonsense have been collectively working against me to keep the things I have to share suppressed. And that's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. I can play videos and tapes of these people slandering me beyond belief. And I say when they slander me, they slandering everybody that I'm representing. You know what I'm saying? So something like this to sit here with y'all and y'all from where I'm from, like this mean a lot because when people misinform others, right, it creates a climate that is going to keep us from really getting to the truth.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like...
And coming together. That's the shit that's most important.
And it's toxic because like they got the babies believing in some of this stuff. Like you got people wearing feathers in their head, not knowing how you supposed to get the feather from a chief, right? And the chief supposed to give you a feather.
So it's like this. When you blessed with a special type of feather, it ain't even the chief giving it to you.
Okay.
It's Keisha Mokwan giving it to you. It's the spirits giving it to you.
Okay.
The chief just performed the ceremony.
He's just a vehicle.
Just the vehicle. But so I'll tell you a story. My cousin, North Carolina, came across a hawk. Hawk had just died. Just found it sitting on the ground. Hit me like, yo, cuz, I just seen this hawk. I'm like, grab it. He grabs the hawk, gets a cooler, puts it in the cooler, puts ice on it. It's gone. Hawk's gone. Right? But this is a hawk, bro. Puts it in the cooler, packages it up, mails it up to the chief of the Ramapo. Chief of the Ramapo, go through everything, take it apart because the wings are like, I got one of the wings now.
Okay.
Wings, like a chief, the head, that goes on a staff.
Okay.
But these are not things, you don't breed them to be able to create these things.
Yeah.
So when you see Indians with these things, it's because they were directly blessed by Creator. Yeah. Because you're not going to walk up and find an eagle, bro. Yeah. You're not hunting eagles. You're not hunting hawks. None of these things.
Yeah.
A hawk flew into a bus the other day. I seen it online right out in the city. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I needed to be there to scoop that. Somebody needed to be there to scoop that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do in the culture. You know what I mean? And it's so, yeah, a lot of the stuff that people, you're not supposed to be having these feathers. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be making regalia is given to you. You don't go buy it.
They going to
gifted.
They going to party fair. They buying red feathers, purple feathers, putting it all around their hats, making it look like and crowns with feathers. Like,
it's true that they can't, like, the feather can't touch the ground, right?
I mean,
it's disrespectful.
That's, I don't want to say spooky shit.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got their own little spookiness to things. So I'm 5%. So irregardless of how I move, I'm gonna remove the spooky shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that works. Still my, you know what I mean? Aspects of my lesson still work irregardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't into all that spooky shit. But yeah, you wouldn't want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
true.
No, you know what I mean? Like, the fans you make now, you don't want them touching the ground or nothing like that. But if it fall down them, not like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Come from the earth. You know what I mean? At some point, that thing was on the ground. So, but yeah, that's, that's just being respectful in any way. But I really want to find the part where it talks about, coming from Africa, because I know people. So this woman, this Annie O. Bowles, mixed woman, right?
Uh-huh.
Irish, Indian, and black.
Okay.
Right? Annie Bowles is a descendant of Chief Bowles.
Okay.
You know who Chief Bowles is? Chief Bowles was a Cherokee chief in North Carolina. Father was an Irishman.
All right.
How you spell that?
It's my grandfather, William Elijah.
How you
Bowles,
spell
Bowels. Look up Chief Bowles.
Oh, a lot of them in Long Branch.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, Dawn Bowles, Neptune, all them, that's all my family. Right. And all these people descend from admixed Indians.
Wow.
Right? So this is Annie Bowles. She married William E. Rock. That's my great-great-grandfather. Now, he's not that dark. This is the photograph that makes people look this dark. Right? Like, that's my mother right there. I don't know if you ever seen pictures of my mother.
I think you have posted one up.
That's my mother.
Yeah.
That's my mother. I'm just so you understand what the photographs, how they affect things. You know what I'm saying? Who else? The Somerset family. You know anybody that's Somersets? You know what I'm saying? Like, are y'all aware of Thomas Fortune? The role he played?
Nah.
All right, so the most noted man in African-American journalism is Thomas Fortune of New York. Wrote the Afro-American Press and its editors. The source of the portrait, Fortune was born in 1856 in Florida. He began his journalism career there and came to own the and edit the New York Age, which is one of the biggest black newspapers
The Afro?
ever.
It was called the Afro,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, I think I heard.
So his parents were slaves, and Fortune was a strong advocate for justice. His writings prompted Penn to note that he never writes unless he makes somebody wince. Now, this man lived in Red Bank.
Okay.
Right? In Red Bank, you have the Thomas Fortune house. It's a historic place.
Okay.
Do lectures in there. We did a documentary with them.
Okay.
Right? This is my grandfather. This is them. They founded Bates Lodge in Red Bank.
Wow.
Laid the cornerstone. So this is them with their fezzes on.
Okay.
They were Knights of Pythias. You know who they are?
No.
Pythian. So these were people of mixed ancestry that were basically wealthy.
Okay.
These were the bougie people that were outwardly appearing like they don't fuck with black people. But inwardly, they're the ones that they're abolitionists.
Okay.
They're all these things that are helping people, get the freedom.
Okay.
They're establishing, like when we talk about, a lot of people talk about these Masonic orders and these different things.
That was a Mason? He was a Mason?
Yeah, you would consider all that Masons. These people were creating institutions within the communities to where they could strengthen themselves. Because let's say you got 50 black people in New Jersey. They all ain't living in the same town, but they're all wealthy. They're all doing good.
Yeah.
Those 50 people would unify and use their influences to help. So if I'm one of these people and you one of them, and you trying to do a deal with this dude, and that dude don't necessarily like you, but you're a part of our thing, and we got influence on him.
Yeah.
You gonna mess with my man. It's politics, right? So all this was politics, right? But you had to do it in a way where the white people don't think you trying to scheme against them.
That's like what Prince Hall with the Masons was doing.
Yeah.
They was against slavery, abolished, building schools and everything. And people started getting into that conspiracy theory
and because we learn our information from outsiders trying to tell us about who and what we come from. And this is what I mean by, like, it's so much to our history that we just picked up because, I don't know, they left it sitting around and we just, but the context of everything that we was dealing with, we gotta get away from a lot of the conspiracy things. And even within our lessons and with the information that gets passed around our communities, a lot of these things were given to us to raise us up. Right? Being taught the black man as God was taught to you to raise you up so you don't feel like you trash. But it didn't really mean you was like God. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even control your heartbeat.
That's why I say God is really what you want God to be. It's a man-made concept.
Yeah. It's the best of you. It's a way for you to focus and bring the best out yourself. That's what I see it as being. Right. So when I strive to be my higher self. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it exists anywhere outside of me. You know what I mean? So, but, we have theological issues, which just proves that what we went through. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things that we discuss prove that we went through the Mafia, that we went through a Holocaust. And now we have
identity crisis.
An identity crisis. And now you have 123 nations around the world agreeing with it. Right?
Yeah.
At the UN. Voting that this is something that needs to be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? The transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? And people want to now work against that. Like,
and our country voted no against it. That's the crazy thing.
And our country voted no against it. So we have no one else to blame but us. And you know why? Because it goes back to what I said before about us not having representation in our communities because we don't take the census serious. And we think they're trying to steal something else from us. So we don't know how to organize ourselves via the census so we can have a say-so in matters like this.
And now you got a lot of people messing up the census because instead of putting black African American, they want to put Native American. They want to put something else.
And then guess what? And this is the diabolical thing about it. American Indian is a government status set aside for federally recognized Indians. Indians.
Okay.
So I can't even say I'm American Indian because Sandhill is not federally recognized.
And that's crazy with all the documentary,
But all recognized means is they fund your shit.
Yeah,
so
they
it don't
get the
matter.
I was gonna say is it because they don't want to pay up? They know that they have to pay up.
No, it's because we're not under their jurisdiction on that level because we never signed away our rights as a group of people. See what I'm saying? So as long as I function as a United States citizen, like I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I don't. You know what I mean? But I am also a part of a group of people historically that we can speak to these things. So when I say speak to these things is if I had to go into a court of law and prove who I am, undoubtedly, I could. Right? So that is now going to, even though I'm not recognized by the United States government, I don't get funding. If I were to go into court of law, the court of law would recognize me as that. But in order for me to get funding from the government, I have to enter into a deal with them. And when you enter into a deal, when you sign a contract, they can put whatever they want in the contract. So these are the things that we're dealing, and that's where the blood quantum, all that shit come in. But that's not really, like, we passed that. Like the organizations we deal with, we're moving in an international way. Right? My tribe is a member of FANA, one of the founding members of FANA, Federation of Aboriginal Nations of the Americas. And we lean on our treaties that we have as a people that predate the United States.
Okay.
So my family is mentioned in the annals of Princeton University and Rutgers, right? Princeton University is older than the United States. Princeton University was established via a relationship between Britain and the Lenape.
Okay.
So we have a relationship with Princeton that supersedes anything the federal government could say. Princeton knows who we are. See what I'm saying? So Princeton works with us. Rutgers works with us. You know what I'm saying? Things that we would need to access government funds to get from them, they'll do it for us because they know who we are because we can speak to it. See what I'm saying? So it's like recognition is about the government funding you.
Okay.
That's what it's not like you don't exist. It means we're not funding you.
Like the state recognized want to get funding from the state.
Yeah, and the state recognized want to get funding from the states. Doesn't mean you're any realer than any other. You're just the one we choose to mess with. Right? I'm not messing with you. I'm giving bro my attention and the bread and the resources.
Right.
Even though you might have introduced me to him.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Right.
You did something I don't like. You know what I'm saying? You're an Eagle fan. I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm not messing with him.
Right.
See, it's that type thing.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's real. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man.
I wanted to ask you about the mounds.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any known mounds that you know about that we could check out?
So Lenape aren't traditionally mound builders. Lenape aren't traditionally mound builders. Okay. Like that's another thing. Like I didn't want to let this all out, but not all Native Americans were mound builders.
Right.
Specific groups. Some people buried their dead in what appears to be mounds, but that's not the same as being a mound builder. You understand? So, but there's no traditional mounds, you know what I'm saying, necessarily. Now, are there traditional places we can take you to? Effigies, turtle effigies?
I be seeing shit that look like mounds, though.
You see septic tanks.
Yeah. Oh, that septic tank?
Those are all on the parkway. A lot of them is storage. You know, a lot of people still store certain things in salt underground. Like when you go, if you're driving past them mounds that look like on the parkway, when you walk around the side of them, you're gonna see a whole garage door. Because it's a hill that, like, those technologies that people used back in the day still are still viable. You can still store certain things, salt, right? What does the parkway have to? Right? It was a snow place. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these things that we are assuming are mounds, look at the culture. Like I said, Lenape are not traditional mound builders. So why would there be mounds in their territory. That's something that someone who, you know what I mean? If we was in Louisiana, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't walk around Rutgers University, Princeton, and there be mounds. You can do that in Louisiana. You can go to those major universities because they're building there to even help preserve these places. You know what I'm saying? So I would say this, bro. When people are expressing certain informations, there's certain questions you can ask that'll let you know where they are getting this information from. You know what I'm saying? Certain things right off the bat, like it's like when someone says to me, I'm Anyawea, I'm like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because that's not how you wouldn't say I'm Anyawea. Anyawea is saying we the principal people. You don't introduce yourself by saying we the principal people. See what I'm saying? It's just not, no. But these are terms that people pick up and they become popular. Niji, it's got to be the one that he made popular, right? Niji is a term that means friend in Ojibwe, and it's only primarily said from male to male.
Is that N-I-G, J-I?
N-I-I-J-I.
Oh, N-I-I-J-I.
Right? It was made popular by a certain individual, right, who's been pushing the narrative.
Yeah, I just seen that on TikTok. So
yeah,
I about to say all the Pitinians, they use that now.
Yeah, because that's something that came around when that person first started teaching it. He pushed that heavily. But Niji is an Ojibwe word. Ojibwe people, right? You know what they would call Ojibwe people?
Nah, what's that?
They would call them Siberians. So now you're trying to steal the language from somebody that you call Siberian.
Yeah, that's the same thing I said. Like they say they fake, but then they find people in the dog show with their same names as grandparents and say, "Oh, look, we on the dog." But don't just say these the fake people. It don't make sense,
bro. We are, especially here in New Jersey, we are Africans who mixed in with Indians hundreds of years ago and have been here ever since. If you identify with your African side, you might have been Afrocentric. If you identify with your native side, you probably would have been quiet, sitting on the porch, not sharing much because of the ridicule. See what I'm saying? But now that it's safe to talk about it, you hear everybody talking about it.
Yeah, that's
when
what
those who come from these families have grandparents that didn't. My grandfather refused. He said there will be no Brotherton talk in my home. Brotherton is the reservation our ancestors went to. My grandfather refused to allow any of that conversation happen in his home. He did not want us identifying with our native ancestors because the mafia was still stealing land from us. We're not even going to get into that. We're not going to get into the Stavolas, into all the different developers that ran through Monmouth County. Because Throckmorton, all these different places, because my family had direct interactions with these people, right? We were the construction builders. We built Ocean Grove, them big houses down there.
Yeah.
That was the Sandhill construction companies building that. Why is there no Sandhill construction now?
Mafia.
Wow.
Who was one of the biggest mafia bosses ever?
In New Jersey?
No, New York.
Oh.
Is the John Gotti?
No, way before that. We talking about
was it Stobe? What's his name?
Let me look it up. But anyway, I'm gonna give you the name. But this man hid in Red Bank for 30 years. Got indicted by the FBI.
Matter of fact, somebody doing a documentary on him. He used to get his hair cut over here.
Yeah, I'm about to say I seen the documentary.
Yeah, somebody doing a documentary.
I can't think of his name though.
Over there, yeah.
And he had hitters. He had hitters with him.
Yeah, they were just talking about. I forgot somebody's doing a documentary. They said he used to get his hair cut.
Yep. And guess what?
Shrewsbury Avenue. It's a barbershop over there.
Which is right down the street from my Uncle Arnold's print shop.
Vito Genovese.
Vito Genovese. Now, let me tell you, I don't know, time probably running out, but my uncle, my grandfather's brother, the same brother who said, we're not going to talk about this, publicly or in my home, because this will make life harder for the generations. Wow. His brother lost his life in Red Bank, New Jersey at the print shop. He was zipped up. You know what zipped up is?
Body bag?
Boom, boom, tapped. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Sternum, headshot, chest shot.
Damn.
That's a professional hit. 3 shots. Boom, boom, boom.
Make sure you ain't coming back.
That's a mafia hit. That's how my uncle lost his life. The uncle whose lap I used to sit on.
Wow.
1976.
Heavy.
Because of my uncle was still active. He was loud. My grandfather said, we're not going to talk about it. Fall back, get your money. Uncle Arnold was a revolutionary, owned a newspaper, not just a local newspaper. The Echo was a national newspaper.
The Echo, yeah.
They was one of the only few newspapers to cover the meeting between Marcus Garvey and the Ku Klux Klan.
I got a girl. I'm about to interview her. She was
where can the people that's watching follow you?
I'm Turtle Gang anywhere. You type in Turtle Gang NYC, Turtle Gang, I'm gonna pop up. Anything Turtle Gang is going. I've been doing this for such a long time that my name, like that Turtle Gang thing.
It's an interesting build to hear somebody, build with our language. You know what I'm saying, on an Indian topic where we can
I had him on your podcast. That's what made me so interested. I was I think
before when we had a conversation, I was a little ignorant towards
what's on your Native American stuff.
Oh yeah,
I understand it.
No, but that wasn't him. You talking about it was the other dude that was the dude that claimed he got no black.
I didn't know nothing about it, but he was in my ear a little bit. So
no, I'm gonna tell you where you was at, because when you were saying the things you were saying, I was like, bro don't realize he's sitting right on top of what most people don't put together. So you were saying something about the Indians was telling you they wasn't happy with their leadership or something, right? Is that what you was trying to convey to me? He was like, I talked to some Indians that I work with, and they ain't happy.
Oh yeah, you saying.
Yeah. That was in New Mexico.
New Mexico. And I was trying to explain to you that you talking to the people who follow the traditional culture.
Right.
And they not happy with the political leaders, the sellout leaders.
Right.
So a lot of these Indians, because they're disgruntled with their leadership, be like,
they chief turned into a mayor.
Yeah.
That's what they was doing in New Mexico.
Well, see, when you become federally incorporated, the chief is only symbolic. You now have a board, just like any company. Mm-hmm. You have a board of trustees, bro. Mm-hmm. It ain't about that no more. It's incorporated into the United States government, and it's a corporation. That's how they trick everybody out of their stuff.
Right.
They thinking, okay, we about to this and that, but they don't realize they're giving up their sovereignty.
I was telling you that they was saying that the Indians was saying that they losing their tradition because the younger generation, they don't want to stay on the reservation. They don't want to stay on the land. They want to come amongst society, and they don't want to follow their way of life. So they was losing like their tradition and shit.
That's what happened to the Sandhill. That's what happens to a lot of our youth, because the enticement of the culture that is available now, you know what I'm saying, is so strong. Like I live in a straight Middle Eastern community, right? The parents, the job, everything, all the way down. The kids dress like us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching them lose their culture. Even if it's just a little bit, it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Because they want to have the fitteds on, and they want to stand in front of the bodegas, but the difference is they own the bodegas.
Right.
Hustle in front of bodegas, they own the bodegas.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So that's a natural part, and that's why we have to make this stuff appealing and make our kids see the pride in it. And then we gotta, like, I'm not somebody out here that's trying to sell the 1700 Indian to you. That's why I'm not up in here talking more Indian, trying to fit those descriptions, because I'm not that. And that would be inauthentic for me to present myself Yes. You know what I mean? And be all like that so I can be closer to what you think or imagine indigenous person is. You know what I'm saying? But I have to be honest and tell you the true story, because when I talk about myself, right, I'm talking about multiple stories that converge on me and my particular line and the generations. But it ain't just one story. So a lot of people want to tell the story of being indigenous from one perspective. And when I first started to share things, even unaware of things, I was doing that. Talking about, nah, my people always been here. Not realizing that people are hearing me and looking at me and associating the totality of my people. See what I'm saying? My Lenape people always been here. My African people came here, indentured. And because they came here as indentured servants, they were able to achieve their freedom, intermingle, go from being African to people of color. Because it's a difference, even though we don't think of it. We don't think of it.
Now, if you look at history, though, it said some Africans traveled to America way before Columbus, though.
And this is the thing. There are so I would never say that a handful of Africans might not have come here. A handful of aliens might have come here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's not enough of them for them to leave a population or a evidence of their being here. There's no Tartarian villages. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about the Olmec heads? Was they from Africa or no?
So this is the thing. I learned about the Olmecs from Ali Muhammad back in 2007.
Why you laughing, Nasir?
That's
Chief Amaru.
Yeah.
So when he was Ali Muhammad, he was still a Muslim.
Yeah,
right? Before he was even a Moor, before he was ISIS, and before he was Arna.
Yeah, he was everything, right?
Yeah, and I was Lenape then, right? Yeah. So he taught us, this is the first time I seen an Olmec head. I'm Lenape, bro. Nobody ever showed us Olmec heads. So when I seen that shit, I said, damn, what's going on? Those is niggas. Lost my mind. By 2010, I was in Mexico, staring them Olmec heads in the face, hugging them. And guess what? When I walked down the street and made a left, I looked dead at that Olmec nigga right driving the cab. I looked at that motherfucker carrying the bags.
Yeah.
They still there, bro. They just Olmec heads are stone. We don't know what complexion them people are. I do, because I went down there and saw them. Them people are light skinned.
In Mexico, though, they remember that shit we seen the whole documentary. It's African Mexican.
There is, because that was some of the first places that free Africans fled to. Yeah, Tabasco.
Mexico had an underground railroad.
Yeah, literally where the Olmecs are, Tabasco is where the first free Africans fled to in Mexico. So they've been there for hundreds of years, but they're not the Olmecs.
Right.
Olmecs are not pyramid builders. The Olmecs live in marshy areas.
But they're original people, though. That's what we get messed.
They're original people. They just ain't us.
Yeah. We so divided, though. Like
they have black features, bro. Yeah. But they're light with straight hair. Right. But they have literally black features. That's what so throws you off. But you got to go down there and look these people in the face, and you'll see it. You can go.
Now see they got some with afros, though. You ain't see it.
Those are Afro Mexicans. I went and spent time with those people.
I'm talking about the Olmec heads, though. You ain't see the ones with the they got the Eddie. The one that like the Eddie. They got the Eddie afro.
Yeah, no, that's actually, and it's gonna sound crazy for me to say it, but that's actually. So the Olmecs deal heavily in anthropomorphism. You know what that is?
Animalistic.
It's when you merge animal qualities with human qualities. So when we say Michael Jordan looked like a cat, that's a form of like he moves like a cat. We call him the black cat. That's a
like
form of
Egyptian shit too, right?
Egyptian with the wings. That's anthropomorphism. You wouldn't look at an Egyptian and say there was a real man walking around with wings on. Right. When you look at an Olmec artwork, it's all art. And you're seeing anthropomorphism. So when you look at a lot of these Olmec heads, you're looking at them morphing with a jaguar.
Shit, B-Star looked like an Olmec a little bit.
On that note, Reef, we got to wrap up, man.
Good build, man.
Yo, it was a blessing to have you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And man,
y'all.
I am glad you came out. I learned so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bing, for having us here.
Yo,
Shout
Reef,
out to my man DJ Marvelous over here.
maybe some of your boys refriend this again.
Yeah.
fuck
We
them,
definitely
fuck
got to do
them,
a part 2, Reef.
We don't want them on the show. They're out to sabotage.
We about to break out.
Salute. Peace.
Peace. Thank you all.
Yeah,
Thanks,
can
man.
you say goodbye? We need to.